And with that, we are back for another wonderful week of Odyssey the Dragonlords, played by Light of Thylea. My name is DM David. These are the wonderful folks of the Light of Thylea, and we are playing our 115th session. As you can hear in the background, we are rolling dice already because last week there were some shenanigans. Shit went south. Lyra's not feeling quite like herself right now, and we're going to see how exactly that's going to pan out. But before we get into that,
don't worry, I rolled real bad.
any nerd news that you guys want to share with everyone?
I feel like I had something good, and then
I'm like, was there something I wanted to talk about?
Like there was something happened today that I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
I'll give you a moment. So, what is going on in my nerd realm? I've been really into Slay the Princess. Fantastic game, super cool narrative storytelling, horror beats, deep philosophical questions that you weren't prepared for. It's fantastic. Really into the show Shogun. Finally started to catch up a little bit more. Of course, it's taking forever to try to even do that. Listen, I try to hang out with these people for funsies on the side as well, and it's literally them just playing asinine Minecraft shit while I do the dishes. That is how hanging outside of running these sessions goes.
Wow.
Anyway,
asinine?
It's a little asinine, yeah. It's
it is. It's
we act like asses in
it is. That's true.
We do.
But anyway, yeah, that show is fantastic. There's some really, really cool stuff that they included there. I think one of the hardest lines in the show thus far has been kind of like the female lead of the show is talking with pretty much one of the male main characters in the show, and they're talking about war, and she goes, men can choose many reasons to go to war. They can choose pride, they can choose land, power, but a woman is always at war. I just dropped it there, fucking walked off. It's more powerful in the moment. I didn't sell it probably because I'm not really qualified.
A woman?
Yeah. But the show is pretty fun. It was very fun so far. But did that buy you enough time, Jason, to see what kind of nerd news you wanted to share with the community?
No, I remembered what it was, and it wasn't nerd news. It was a Reddit post that I sent to you it's not even funny. It's so dumb. It's not even news. No, it was the one about the Magic the Gathering thing.
Yeah.
That's not news at all. It's
blue players are worse players. Everybody knows. Yeah. They're the least fun to play with. Yeah. Tyler.
Michael. If you're watching, Michael, I'm pointing through the screen at you. I'm breaking the fourth wall.
Run, Michael.
Tyler, did you have anything that you wanted to share?
I think it was Deadpool 3, because I can't think of anything else that has been on my radar lately, but I am very excited for Deadpool 3.
Mm-hmm.
There's some cool shit in there, because somebody showed a freeze frame where it's like, again, this is in the trailer, so I guess spoilers, but not really, if you don't want to beat me real quick. You see what looks like a dead giant Ant-Man head, like the helmet opening up, and there's a skull in there.
It's a skull, yeah.
In front of there, you see a bunch of people who some people think could be a bunch of the villains from like early X-Men movies or from like very obscure scenes and that kind of stuff. And that's something that I've very much enjoyed about Deadpool in general, just that they've been drawing on a lot of the stuff that is not the hottest and the coolest, even though they're also bringing Wolverine back. But whatever, that's beside the point.
The new Fallout show is also amazing.
Oh yes,
amazing. That is so good.
It is really good. So definitely try it out.
All right. The last thing that I'll throw out there as well is something that is near and dear to my heart, but I also want to be very clear that this is something that is personal. This is just me. I'm not speaking on behalf of the group. I'm not speaking on behalf of Polyhedra. But if you enjoy itch.io, the website where a bunch of people just kind of share stuff, where everything from TTRPG news to it's insane. The stuff that you have on there is fantastic. There's currently a bundle live that has 427 things in it. It is bananas. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Specifically, though, this is for Palestinian relief funds. So for the people who are currently on the cusp of famine, this money will go towards them so that they hopefully can eat. So again, without making this too political, people are starving. You can get some cool shit out of that for pennies on the dollar. If you guys want to check it out, here's the link for that. But other than that, let's get into it because I've got some players to kill. All right, who wants to do a quick recap before we get this party started?
Elena, that's your job.
Yeah, Elena.
Yeah, Lena.
Step up. Yeah, with all your toxic masculinity, step up. Be a man.
Wow.
Wait, did we make that joke at the other game? I don't know if it has context
No,
in the
it was.
stream.
It was here. No, it was here.
It was here. It was here.
Oh,
It was
okay.
here. It was
It
here.
was here. It was last week. So just
Yeah,
to start, last week we determined I was toxic masculinity. That was the first thing. That was the first thing that happened. No, so we went into the cairn and we went through the maze. We were successful. We stole a book. When we stole a book, things got upset, but we said that's fine, and we went down some stairs. And then a dragon that we haven't met yet spoke into Argenti and Daphne's minds and said, "Turn back now." And we were all like, we have a job to do. And so we kept going. And then turns out the voice was coming from a brain. And it's just a brain in a jar, in a dome. And this dragon is called... this is for the group. This is your quiz. That dragon
This one-
called
Narcissus.
This one is actually close to an actual Greek god's name.
Narcissus. Is that what you said?
Mhm,
Okay.
yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Thank you, Clancy. So Narcissus is the dragon brain that's there. And we talked to him for a bit. Lyra, what did you do? You went up the brain?
Because I mentioned that he was a brain, and he was like, "Oh, I don't think I'm a brain." And I was like, "Do you want to see the fact that you're a brain?" And I let him into my brain, and
Yes,
that was the wrong decision.
As soon as you let him into your brain, these two other people showed up. Queen Helen showed
Yes.
up, and Kapathos.
Yeah. Good job. Good job.
Yeah, and they're here, and I think we're about to fight.
Damn right you are. Mommy and Zaddy have arrived. We already were starting to pre-roll some initiatives. I gotta catch up with the rest of y'all, and then let's get into it. Elena, thank you so much for that wonderfully succinct recap of what happened. I think, you know what that warrants? I think that warrants a DM inspiration for Elena.
But not
Can I read
Darian.
it?
Just
No.
Elena,
Yeah,
not
Elena
Darian.
IRL gets to add a -1 modifier to her next D100 roll.
Oh.
Yes, that will help me
I feel like she
in
would
another
take
game. I will absolutely take that. Forget this game; it's gonna help my cleric.
Alrighty, let me get those. What are they called? The gift of alacrity rolls for you guys. What do I need to add to folks?
I got a 2 and Alex got a 3.
Yep.
Look at the puppy. Can the puppy help us in the fight?
Right.
The cute factor. Can't kill us if we have a cute puppy with us.
Puppy destruction. We just throw a puppy on the ground.
Summon animals, just a bunch of puppies. You
What's
don't
up?
wanna hurt us,
I'm
yeah.
still Mordenkainen's faithful hound. Puppy.
Oh my god, they're multiplying. There's more.
Amazing. All right, because she is an absolute badass. Darian, you're the first one to act. Once again, as you look towards Lyra, you see that she is certainly, how best to put it, not in her right mind, it appears.
That doesn't really mean a lot.
Yeah. Well, so I'm assuming she spoke out loud when she said I can show you that you're a brain, that she said that out loud.
Yeah.
With my understanding of magic, which is not a lot, if I hit her really hard, would it bring her out of it? No.
You could certainly try. Just don't roll in that 20, that's all I'm saying.
That should
You hit the brain.
Well, there's a dome around the brain, right?
Yeah, as you look upon the brain, there does seem to be kind of like a shimmering field that surrounds it.
Okay. Okay.
But you fucking won't.
Oh no. I guess I don't think there's anything I can do to that brain. I'm probably going to, I guess, hit the new people.
Sure.
Try to hit the. Well, do they look aggressive?
Uh,
Yeah, they came out ready.
Oh.
Alex, like yes, hit them.
Did the armor do stuff when they showed up too? I vaguely remember you mentioning that like it lit up or something.
I just mentioned there was armor.
Oh, the armor that's guarding that door, right?
It's just 2 suits of armor.
I feel like it did something last week, but that's okay. I don't remember.
I don't like going first. This is the worst. All right, I'm going to.
So I will say this: they stepped out and they spoke to you. I have rolled initiative because, let's be real, I have played a lot of D&D, and that is usually what people want to do in the scenario. If you want to role play through this,
I don't. I want to hit them.
you absolutely can role play through this.
All right, I am going to.
Oh yeah, let me show pictures here. I'll buy you another 20 seconds.
Thank you.
This is Queen Helen. The group had technically already defeated her at one point, but it turns out that she, sorry, on stream, Jesus Christ,
She came back and she had a glow up.
on stream, it's like the logo just cuts off her head, and that's just unfortunate. But yeah.
If only you could resize it or move it around or something.
I can't. Well, maybe I can actually. Hold up. Nope, I cannot. Cannot. Confirmed. Wait.
You can't? There's a little thing down in the bottom right corner.
I can resize it, but I cannot really. Oh, that was the wrong button. Well, we don't need anything from the neck or a neck above anyway. That is what appears to be Carpathos, and he does hold in his hand what seems to be partially a staff that then turns into a vein-covered blade.
It's called paper bagging it, David.
Yeah, we did say we were going to paper
we were
bag
just gonna
Carpathos.
paper bag, yeah.
We did say that.
I don't know what that means. I haven't heard that one
It
before.
means everything but the face.
Use your
Oh my
context
God.
clues, David.
Jesus Christ.
Like if you go to a bar and you're like,
No.
Everything.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No.
I'm going to.
like it's like
Uh,
one of those.
Yeah.
Fine.
Got this.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw my chakram at the dude, not the queen, because
At the
he
dude.
seems like the blood lord that we've been hearing a little bit about.
The Blood Lord.
Oy. Why do
All
you
right.
have disadvantage?
You throw it at
Yeah.
him, and as you do, he seems to move incredibly quickly, kind of moving out of the way. As it bounces against the blood wall, you almost see the blood kind of like lift itself from the door behind, tries to grasp, but the chakram is moving at such speed that it just kind of flicks the blood off and then flies back towards you. That is a miss. Oh,
But
I think you know why
disadvantage.
it is technically a disadvantage? Because you're next to the brain.
But I have crossbow expert that if being
You
within
do.
5 feet of a hostile creature, it still would have been a 3.
The first roll's still a 3, yeah.
Yeah,
Just hold-
it
just
still would have.
hold-
I just.
Alt while you're still next to someone.
All right, and I'm going to try to hit him again, or hit him once. Wow,
You rolled
that
the same
feels
thing. You
personal.
rolled the same thing.
Personal. Feels really personal.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, I'm embarrassed, and because I'm embarrassed, I'm gonna use my. Hold on. That's not what I wanted to use. I'm gonna use Nature's Veil, and I become invisible for 6 seconds. I'm gonna take this time to move when I'm invisible
Mm-hmm.
to this corner.
There's also something that I wanted to remind you all of. Last week, you heard a hissing noise as the air seems to have been starting
Right.
to be sucked out of these rooms. Just
Right.
just a little something. Darian, as you move closer towards that wall, kind of stand there. There is a sarcophagus that is there. As you kind of like move around and kind of tuck yourself into that corner, you suddenly feel wetness upon your back where it kind of pushes up against the wall. And you look to the side and you see little tendrils of blood reaching out.
Well, I'm gonna not let those touch me. Like, I would just be standing, like, I guess here, like, away from the tendrils, but I'm still hopefully invisible. That's what my hope is.
Sure, yeah. Uh-huh.
I said I hope. I didn't say I was. I just said I hope.
Alrighty, cool. Anything else? You're done? Okay, cool. Then that brings us to Yanni.
Really?
You rolled really good.
I figured one of your things would go off on a 25 or something. That's how it usually goes when I roll this high. Yeah, I'm getting to go early. Oh. Okay. I'll in response to what happened at the end of last week with Helen looking at me and saying, "Hello, son," I'm going to look at her and go, "Don't expect me to call you mom." And I'm going to... Oof.
That's a free action.
You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm going to I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, I was so ready. I was
gonna drop a prismatic wall to buy us space, but then it's like, okay, but what's that really gonna buy us in the long run?
Time.
A little bit of space. Just a little.
Yeah.
hope. Just a glimmer of hope.
For a 9th level spell slot, I think I should probably save it for later.
Yeah.
So, in light of that thought, I'm going to cast Kintamani's Hand. I'm going to cast the... No, you know what? I'm not. I'm gonna... After the "don't expect me to call you mom," I'm gonna engage in the other side of this, and so she's a little jumpy, throwing shit at you guys. But what do you want with us? Why are you here?
All right. I have a question for you, Damon.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to use that as a persuasion check?
My persuasion's not great, but sure.
Alrighty. Because you are you in this scenario, go ahead and make me a persuasion check with advantage.
All right. Oh. 15?
Carpathos, who had lifted up his blade to kind of get the shotgun to the side, is like grinding his teeth, and you can see like these large incisors kind of, pushing over his lower jaw. As Helen kind of looks at you, we want to build a new world, one free of not just the Titans but gods altogether. Will you join us, son? She kind of like puts out her hand towards you. Anything is a bonus action. Or in response.
Anybody who's looking close sees Yanni's eyes kind of, or his eyebrows kind of come up a little bit like, no gods, huh? Like, I'm kind of okay with that, actually. But, I guess he would say, why did you spell it that way? That's kind of gross.
Listen, I spelled it out before I thought about it, okay?
It's like Ghostbusters, don't cross the streams. Sorry, guys watching. Just weird shit in our chat. Anyway, Yanni would he would probably say something like, "No gods, huh?" But since that's the end of his turn. I don't have any bonus actions I'm going to use right now, so that's all.
Alrighty. Argenti. You hear this bit about no gods. Darian in vain attempted to attack Mr. Zaddy Karpathos. What would you like to do?
Okay, so Argenti was probably getting ready to also do crazy shit like Darian, but he'll hold back for a second. And he would love a world with no gods too, but even though Daphne kind of hates him right now, there's just like a moment where he holds back and then he just looks at Daphne, because I really want to know what her like visual response is to a world without gods, because that also means family. So, and technically, kind of, sort of, they're not really gods now, but what's their definition of gods? You know.
Well, Daphne, what do you look like right now?
I guess her immediate response is, like, it checks out. They're from Aresia, so, like, she's not surprised by that factor. She is... I don't know if she's even really surprised about Yanni, because I think she and Yanni have talked about this in the past, too. But she's, like, terrified. She's scared. She knows what Helen has done. Lyra's not herself. She's terrified.
Also, Argenti, maybe what's going through your head as you had a very good guess that the brain was actually just Karpathos in disguise. And maybe to a degree that might or might not be true, but now that Karpathos has come out, and you know that that is seemingly a brain of one of the dragons that you once knew in your life.
Mm-hmm.
What's going through your head? Thinking, wow, there is a dragon behind you, technically speaking.
I think Argenti is... He feels pity, but he is kind of trying to accept that Narcissus is already kind of dead to him. Like, he has a brain in a jar, he doesn't really have a body, he might as well just be dead. So it's a lot of conflicting feelings, for sure. But I think, yeah, at the moment, he's kind of dead to him. Which sounds harsh. That's probably it. There's my really excellent philosophical answer.
Totally fine. I guess that only leaves us with the question of, as you have a totally dead to you dragon brain floating behind you, and a totally not dead, undead pair of people before you, what do you do?
Argenti will, he'll say, I'm assuming you have a plan, and he'll say it to Karpathos and
Helen.
her. Helen.
And her. Joaquin Phoenix and her. Got it. Again, are you trying to say this with a what are you ideally trying to get out of that? So how can I make the fantasy work for
I think he just wants to know, like, I think actually I'm personally using it as a stalling tactic to skip my turn and move on to somebody else. But I think what Argenti is trying to do is trying to, like, get information. Like, I'm assuming you have a plan. Like, what do you mean by gods, kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and give me a persuasion check then.
Persuasion. Oh, 28.
Alrighty. As you say that, Karpathos kind of like takes the blade down. I do. And if you stop your childish actions, you can join the grand plan. All right. I guess that brings us to Brissa, yeah? Brissa.
Yes.
The Arisians are talking. Darian is walking. And what are you doing? Christopher Walken. Yeah, no, listen. It's my best
Over.
impression of him.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
I can't do Walken. Walken is too
Yeah.
precise.
So walk up to Lyra, and I don't know if it's going to work, but she will cleansing touch Lyra
Okay.
to hopefully end whatever like effect that might or might not be on her.
All right, go ahead and use it for me if you would. Cleansing touch, cleansing you, sweet cleansing touch. Ba, ba, ba. Give me a second. Let me triple check on the wording for it so I can give you a good answer. Alrighty, for this one, I want to give it to you, but this one is a little wonky. So I need you to make me a charisma check.
Okay, it's not great. So, yeah.
I mean, better than a wisdom check, right?
I mean, it is better than wisdom check. You shouldn't even that's like strength, like just like a strength of will.
You punch Lyra in the face.
You could have just punched me. You could have just punched me.
15, so not bad, not bad.
You put your hand upon her and you try to pulsate, and it seems like whatever is affecting Lyra in that moment is not so much a spell per se, but some kind of a tie between the brain and Lyra. You do get the sense that there is something currently within Lyra's mind, and it is preventing her from acting out of her own will. You are able to confirm that as your paladin magic courses through her. However, as you try to then assail this force, it feels like your bare hands are crashing like a fist against solid sheet metal and just kind of crumple. Like your energy kind of like wraps around it and tries to squeeze it, but it's like you're just trying to squeeze a sword into shape out of a metal ingot.
The brain is controlling Lyra, everyone?
You hear a cool in the distance. You don't see it, but you hear this cool.
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 Actually, you know what? That's 10 feet away. You know exactly where Darian is.
Oh, damn it.
Listen, you guys kept bringing it up. I was like, all right, fine. Let's make this better.
Well, that is my action, so I will. That is. We're not. I mean, I don't know what we're doing quite yet. So.
Making it up as we go. That's what we're doing.
Alrighty. With that, then, that brings us to initiative count 20 first. On initiative count 20, you see that there is a flash of red magic that kind of goes across the walls and kind of pulses. The runes themselves kind of flashing for a second, but you can see Carpathos raises his hand, and as it does, the energy kind of stands there for a second and then pulls back. Carpathos has suppressed a lair action. As he steps forward towards you all, kind of stepping into the light, and he kind of like covers his eyes as the diamonds are shining off of your helmet, Daphne. But as he makes eye contact with you, he seems to calm a little bit. I see potential in you, child. And his smile kind of curls upwards as he goes, my plan is to take the divine artifacts that the people of this land had made, but not to simply replace their tyrants, but to slay them forever, and to function as a warning against any other god who will ever try to submit mortals into subjugation. Are you with me? And he kind of looks at you for most of that, Daphne, and then ends up looking towards you, Yanni. My great grandson, progeny of my blood. Alrighty. Oh man. Lyra.
Yep, that's me.
Oh man. In your mind's eye, you suddenly are standing in the room, but it's like you're standing behind yourself. And beside you, you see a beautiful young man, golden curls kind of running down his side, standing there. And
Hello?
his golden eyes kind of like looking back at you.
Oh no, he's a twink.
As you look upon him, though, his eyes are bright red. The irises are completely as if they're just made out of shining ruby. Stop it, Savvy. And as he kind of like looks towards you, you feel a piercing in your mind. Thank you, Lyra. I'm sorry, I'm not completely in control of myself. Let's do this together. It seems like there is a chance that this doesn't have to end in blood. Don't you agree? And he holds out a hand, like to hold your hand.
Oh no.
Your harem is full. Your harem is full.
I know.
Is it the?
Let me
Is
tell
it
you. Let me tell
ever?
you about the quick math that I just did in my head. It was he's shirtless. I already have 2 boyfriends.
He doesn't have
And
horns.
he's a brain.
He has abs. He doesn't have horns.
He
He's
is
a
a brain.
Oh,
And
he
a
is a
brain.
dragon.
But
He
he's a
is a
brain.
dragon.
But you guys have
It
a
is
regenerate
brain.
spell. You guys have a regenerate spell. It's fine.
Oh man, we could just put his brain into the dragon body instead of Mitros back into the dragon body.
Oh no.
Okay.
Don't
Daphne
we have a
about
spirit
to
dragon
kill
body?
fuckers.
While I'm dissociating, I guess, do I see or hear what's going on in the actual room?
Yes, you do.
And so far, Darian has tried to attack them. Nobody else has tried to attack them.
I tried to free you.
Can I do an insight check on Narcissus to see if us doing this together is us fighting my friends or us trying to end this without anyone fighting?
Make me an insight check with advantage because you do feel his mind brushing up against yours currently.
Oh no. I got an 18.
Alrighty. As you ponder this, you do see genuine flashes of his fear of your friends dying. His heart almost stops as he considers Daphne falling. And as that kind of continues on, you feel him rifling through your own mind. It is like someone who is desperately searching for an answer, going through books and ledgers, and then his mind stops. And it's almost like your mind trying to make sense of what's happening with another mind inside of your mind conjures forth an image of you standing within the academy in Mitros. There are stacks of books, and indeed many of them have been cast aside, and you see the stories and the adventures that you have gone on with your friends, the exploits that you have gone on with your friends. And as you kind of step forward, you realize that he's currently holding a book in his hands, and it is open, and green light is shining across his face. And he just goes, "Oh, this what to do." The rest of you guys see Lyra just kind of like sway a little bit and then kind of look down towards her hands. Lyra, you seem to be back at standing next to Narcissus. Narcissus having his hand out. Do you take it?
If it felt like he was actually worried that my friends were gonna die if I didn't join him, then yeah, I'll grab his hand.
You grab his hand. The rest of you guys see Lyra starts to cast a spell. Do any of you do anything?
She's probably casting it at the bad guys. So no.
Maybe it's a good spell.
Let it happen. We'll see
Maybe
what
it's darkness.
Okay. As she casts her spell, suddenly, it's like she takes strings and they resist her, and she kind of forces them down. And as she does, she weaves what appears to be shadow as it starts to become more and more corporeal, and then ultimately solidifies into a black slate door that kind of shimmers before her. And she pushes in. To clarify, the door is now open, and Lyra has stepped into a place beyond. That brings us to Helen. She steps forward. And before I forget. Oh man, well actually, I'm going to send you a message here, Tyler, for in a second. Queen Helen steps forward, kind of similarly, kind of protecting her eyes and then stepping over to the side there to be just barely outside of it, and looks towards you, Yanni. I am impressed with how proficient you have become. You are a true-born. Last heir of Arisha. If you would, I would request your aid in returning your brother's body here, in vanquishing this queen of the Amazons, so that together we can restore Arisha under your name. Otherwise, holds. Lyra, you find yourself having stepped forward.
Oh, I hate
Never
that.
mind.
Whatever the fuck that is.
Sorry, I just think that's something silly on that one. No. You step forward, and you find yourself in a very familiar room made out of shadow. Tyler, would you like to describe what Lyra has created, equipped, and otherwise done in the demi-plane that holds the Promethean fire?
If it's the one that the fire is in, it's literally just an empty 30 by 30 room with a table sitting in the middle of it with a lockbox sitting on top of it. That's the only thing in the room.
What is your answer to the thing that I asked you? Yes or no?
If I realize that's where we're going, then yeah, I would.
Okay. Please go to make me a wisdom saving throw.
I rolled a 1.
Oh no!
Take my DM inspiration.
Yeah.
Take it.
We need it or you die.
Take it.
I rolled a 24.
That's a little better.
Way better.
Not
Way
better.
better.
Alrighty. You stop as you realize what's going on. The shadowy door is still active behind you. As Narcissus goes, "What are you doing? We are going to doom all of this. They're going to kill you. Please, do not." And you get the sense that next turn, you will be in control of your body again.
Okay.
But as you do, suddenly you feel an extremely powerful psionic force behind you take hold. And for the sake of this, because I don't want to delay too much in making the thing happen, the door is right here, the red line, which is going to be kind of hard to see with with a health bar when it comes back. But suddenly the box flies, telekinetically pulled. Lyra, go ahead and make me, if you want to, you get the sense that as the thing flies at extremely high speed past you, you could try to grasp it on the way as a reaction, if you'd like to.
I mean, yeah. I have one more question.
Always, go ahead.
I don't want to completely be out of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But this is going to be pushing some limits. If I have enough wherewithal to try and grab the box, would I also have enough mental ability to just drop the demiplane spell?
Let me check on the wording, and then I'll have an answer for you either way.
I don't know if it's an action. I was gonna look.
It is simply active for the next hour, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
So, in that case, grasping the box to prevent it from flying out of the demiplane will be your big opportunity. What would you like to
Just
do?
throw your
Yeah.
frail-boned bird body in front of it and take the impact.
I mean, I'm not strong. No, I gave it to someone earlier. Yeah, I'll try and intercept the box.
All right. I'm gonna say in that case, I need you to make me your choice of acrobatics or sleight of hand.
I'm pretty sure they're both the same. They are the same.
So describe what happens and then choose one of the abilities and roll it.
Lyra's not stupid enough to think that she could just catch it. So I'm gonna say it's acrobatics, but it's literally her, like, pivoting to the left to just try and get in the way of the box.
Roger that. Go for it.
And you said just straight roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a 17.
Not bad. Not bad. Can you add anything to that before I declare the result?
I have nothing that would add anything to that.
Flash of Genius?
You're too used to that from the other campaign. The box flies incredibly fast, but Lyra, you see your opportunity. At first you think maybe I can grasp it, but then you just step to the side as you do. It flies just past you, just out of reach, and flies into the room beyond.
Well, he's just a brain. He doesn't have hands, so.
Catch these
She's
his
saying,
hands.
oh my god.
These brain stems. I don't know why there's two.
Oh man, I can't show it because of some shenanigans that I set up. But the thing flies, and as it flies forward, you see a lead box tumble past through that barrier that the brain seemingly has, and kind of like hover there next to it. And all of you guys suddenly hear this telekinetic or this telepathic voice kind of just push into all of your minds. I have it. Everyone lay down your arms. We can work together, please. Please. And that is going to be Narcissus' turn.
It is locked.
All right, Daphne.
Okay. So Narcissus has a box, has it.
Mm-hmm.
And Helen, murderer of all of her half-siblings, is right here. And Carpathos is gross and doing some really weird join the dark side stuff. But they clearly don't like the light from her helmet. So she's gonna take a step forward.
Okay.
Trying to get in between Yanni and Carpathos.
Okay. As both of them kind of reveal their canines towards you, long, thin, dagger-like.
I think her heart's like just pounding like crazy, like she's so afraid of these two. And she's instead going to use, hopefully, intimidation to yell at Narcissus. Your family still gives a damn about you, and this is what you're doing? Do you think they're going to let you go after all of this? How many times were you promised that? You think this is going to make it any better for you? For us?
All right.
Helen slaughtered all of your nieces and nephews. Why wouldn't she slaughter us next? It's okay if that's a persuasion roll, but
No. Make me an intimidation check.
all right, a 20. Yeah. Dirty 20.
You see the brain almost quiver in response. As it does, you see Quinn Helen kind of just look over. Enough! I have no interest in sacrificing you. I am sorry for what happened to the others. And if you and I want to argue over it, we can. Leave him out of it. And she seems to kind of squint her eyes, and the quivering stops. And it's almost like the brain kind of lowers itself, almost in like a subjugation kind of position. And you swear you hear a telepathic whimpering coming from the brain. Anything as a bonus action. And remind me really quick beforehand to your helmet being this close. Aside from the shine, what else does it do to undead creatures?
Any undead that starts its turn in that area takes 1d6 radiant damage. So it is but a pittance to, I'm sure, their HP. But
Ow!
it is.
Ow!
Yeah. It's more of an itch, probably.
They like bite the inside of their lip. Ow!
Yeah, that actually does more damage.
Oh my god, an adventurer who has a vampire at 1 HP that accidentally bites the inside of their lip and kills themselves.
It would check out. It would check out. Oh, see, she's so pissed off because she's saying... Yeah, I think we're still waiting for somebody to make more of a first move here. I hate it.
Okay.
I think her bonus action, she's just gonna look at Helen.
Mhm.
and say, I am so damn tired of people saying sorry and they don't mean it. You're about as sorry as Moxana.
Oh,
Okay.
damn! She called you Moxana.
To the top, Darian. Make a drop.
Darian's gonna. I know. Darian's gonna be like, they're the bad guys, and he's gonna try to hit them because the talking. They're the bad guys.
All right, so your invisibility disappears at the start of your turn or at the end of your turn?
I believe at the start of my turn.
Okay. Double check for me real quick because...
It is the start of your
Start
turn.
of your turn. All right. Is the box in the force field with the brain?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to try to hit Kapathos. I don't know. He doesn't deserve. I'm not gonna remember his name. We're gonna kill him today. I'm gonna be confident. That's a 30.
At 30, let me triple check something really quick. Yep, that is going to be a hit.
David, I swear to God.
You say the 30 doesn't hit. We got problems.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
on my next turn, I'll be casting teleport. And yeah.
And then as soon as the chakram comes back, I'm gonna try to throw it again and hit him a second time.
All right, go for it.
A 19, does that hit?
A 19 does not hit after you kind of do all of that. And he's just like, the first cut kind of comes across and you see the wound that it causes on his shoulder opens up and there's blood that actually runs down, which you're like, how's that even possible? And as it kind of goes around, you grab it again, throwing it again, and he's just like, enough! And as he does, the blood from his wound shoots forward and builds a magical shield across it.
Okay. And because I miss that second time, and I'm mad that 3 out of my 4 shots missed, I let out my battle cry, and I like scream and rage at the rest of the group, and I'm like, don't forget why we're here. And that's what I'll do.
Dope. Alrighty, Yanni. Actually, hold up. Let me see some things here really quick. At the end of your turn, nope. Nothing happens at the end of your turn. Yanni. Neither Karpathos nor Helen have made any offensive moves so far, despite Darian's raging. But you did... Well, technically the door is before you, so I don't... Tyler, the door. You can't see through it once it's open, right? Like you can, but only from one direction?
Actually, hold on. Let me look at the spell again real quick. Because I think it has to be on a solid surface, too. You create the door on a flat, solid surface.
Interesting. So we'll say, to make it have made more sense, the door... You would have seen all of this. I just have to make sure that it actually could be somewhere that makes sense. So we'll see that the door is actually currently in this part. So over here by that red marking.
I think Bersa would have stopped her if she was trying to move away, but it's too late now, so it's...
Oh, apologies. Yeah, because that is obviously a play urgency. I don't want to undermine or anything like that. Go ahead and get a DM inspiration, Alex. I hope that'll make up for it.
I mean, technically, I guess you could make it on the floor, but then it would be that weird, like, Inception gravity thing where, like, the room is this way, but the...
But... Yeah.
Gracefully crawl out of it.
Right.
Like the ring girl.
Like, do I walk on the floor and then just shift my body weight to the actual other
well, you
floor?
can fly up to it, right? So it's just like it's like a step around.
But would I also have just fallen into the demi-plane when I opened it?
You would have been like, you would have fallen for like a little bit and then immediately dropped on the ground probably. I mean, you
I'm
know
okay
what?
with just putting it on the wall.
Oh.
That's too much physics for D&D.
Did the stalling help, Yanni?
I was just making sure everybody was done. As much as I like the idea of a world with no gods, I'm assuming you're intending to be in charge of everything when they're gone?
Make me a persuasion check. If that's what you intend with your action.
That's fine. I'm more interested in engaging at this point.
Darius like, what the
Ooh,
fuck?
not too good this time.
That's why. I'm just kidding.
That sounds like de facto or post facto argumentation there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to know the answer, so I will give that inspiration you just gave to me.
Deal.
Okay, we'll try again. Wish me luck.
No, Alex.
Oh, twice as good. 10.
Well,
I was about to say, every time you use inspiration, it's always a worse roll.
I had one the
I
other
didn't
night
use it though.
where I
Damon used
I,
it.
what did I roll originally? I think I rolled a 1, and then somebody gave me the inspiration, and I rolled a 20. Like natty 1 to natty 20. I was like, yeah, that never happens. That was awesome.
She looks at you, and you actually see her get down on her knee, so she's like eye to eye with you. As she goes, tell your friend to stand down, and we can talk details. We will protect this world, yes.
I also wanted to know who you sent to retrieve my body all those years ago. But that's the end of my turn.
And her eyes just kind of downcast a little bit as you say that. All right, Argenti.
All right.
Coat of cold.
Totally without a word from Argenti, he's just gonna. There's just gonna be like a building of like a green glow around his hands, and then he'll just kind of look. Helen. He'll look Helen like in the eyes because she used to be like his queen. There's like a weird connection there. She may not know who he is, and then I'll twin spell, disintegrate, just to come out swinging. We're just this is more about statement.
Cast your spell.
Okay, twin spell. Let me just mark those off. What's 15 minus 8? Somebody tell me quickly.
7.
7? So, okay, thank you. I didn't have time. Target. And then we're gonna disintegrate. We're just gonna do it at 6th level.
Okay. In response to you casting a spell, Helen casts a spell as well.
Okay.
Any reactions to Helen casting a spell?
No.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
My room is only 30 feet
Okay.
by 30 feet. How far away from Helen do you think I am?
You're on a different plane of existence.
But it's an open door.
There's an open door.
The question is, because you were looking to, well, but her facing is not really a thing. Oh man, that is a good point. You know what? Let's settle it by D&D rules. Go ahead and make me a perception check to see whether you would be paying attention to that.
Okay. 8.
Probably not.
Her spell goes off before you have time to register what's going on. We'll say for that one.
That's fine. I
That
am
is totally valid.
in a
That was a
demi-plane.
good-
I am in a demi-plane.
It was a valid call out. It was a valid call out. Anyone else? Any reactions to that? Once, going twice. Okay. Then she is going to roll a roll. Let's see here. Okay. All right. And she is going to use the first of her legendary points to get that up to par.
Get it, girl.
As she, you can see that the capillaries across her body kind of like pop. Blood seems to kind of run down the tear ducts. As you take the two beams of green light, and just like there's a flashing of your green, and it's just like maybe a little bit of a look of utter carelessness. Of just like your eyes going wild, trying to disintegrate, trying to get this attack off on people who are clearly turned the other way. She's like, and the blood comes up, and it's like she's just pumping blood from the walls, from her body, into that, as the spell technically goes off in a way, but it's like disintegrating blood. As there's suddenly just like a bunch of ashy flakes of dust in the air of all the disintegrated blood. And she just kind of breathes heavily after that. Fool. All right, that was your action. Bonus action? Movement?
Yeah. Actually, no. We're gonna stand our ground. We're gonna stay right here. We're just gonna keep looking at her. Actually, you know what? He would probably turn his gaze, like less concerned about her now, and then more just like there's like a moment of distraction, like he's looking back towards the brain.
Okay.
And that's it. That's it for me.
All right, that brings us to Brissa.
So is the box behind the force field,
Yes.
or is it? Okay, so it's completely behind.
It's in the force field with the brain. The force field looks attackable. If you'd like to attack it, you can attack it. It seems like it has like a certain HP pool, so you can just whack away at it and then try to get through it that way.
Do you think it has a high AC? Do you think? Just curious.
Do you think it has like a damage threshold?
Yeah.
I will whack the threshold.
Listen, it's not a vehicle.
I will whack the threshold.
Fuck that
You
threshold.
did. You did.
You whacked the threshold!
That is a good threshold whack-in. Do you want to do anything fancy to that?
Nope.
Alrighty, and you strike against it, and you get the sense this thing is pretty sturdy. As you kind of get repelled back at first, but yeah, it is starting to kind of like flicker. You can see as behind it, it's almost like some of those green runes flash, and blood is kind of like infused into the protective bubble around, and kind of like strengthening it in the place where you hit it, kind of turning temporarily from like this bluish color into red, and then back to blue.
Oh. Well, then Briss will take one step to the left, and she will whack Helen, and be like, "I think I took your head once. I would like a second one."
Oh, for goodness sake.
No hit?
If we could still talk to her, Yanni. It's okay.
Never
Oh,
mind.
no!
We're gonna miss.
You swing
Look at
down,
this.
and she just catches the glaive, and she holds it as she looks towards it. Oh, interesting glaive you have there. I think it will look good on your new lord. As she kind of lets go of it, and you kind of like pull back. With that, anything as a bonus action.
I would like to rage. Yes.
Okay.
Look at us raging. Raging queens over here.
You didn't do that first?
Still new to the whole.
Yeah. The barbarian, is new.
Alrighty. Let me double check something. Did you target yourself when you used it? No,
I did
huh?
not.
Okay, no worries. Let me just do that for you really quick. Toggly. Cool. Alrighty. That brings us to Carpathos.
Can I roll the damage? 'Cause he's taking
Yay!
Look, this is might be the most damage I do.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
2.
Yay!
Yes.
Is it doubled because it's radiant?
It does
Hey.
seem to do some extra damage to him, yes.
Yay!
I get to stand there, and he still takes damage.
Alrighty, let me see a couple things here.
It's kind of like a residual paycheck. Still getting paid for the thing you did before.
Exactly. All that hard work for this helmet help.
It just burns across him. You can see the wound seems to almost kind of like start to stitch back up, but like the radiance seems to kind of like interfere with that a little bit as he just looks first at you, Daphne, and his eyelids kind of lower, and then he looks past you with the radiance kind of burning across his skin, just barely causing some fumes. And his eyes meet yours as he says, "Help us subdue them, and we can negotiate." And then his head just impossibly quickly moves to where Darian is. And as he just like lifts up the sword, Daphne, at first you think he's about to swing on you. And as the sword comes down, oh, there's something else that I forgot. I'll do it after his turn. Suddenly he turns into a blood mist that turns into pure shadow. And
Oh, buddy.
as part of the attack, he's going to appear right behind you and make the swing down with advantage.
A +5 to my AC. Stop the hit if it hits.
No, because believe it or not, he rolled 2 natural fucking ones on the attack. You were so ready for it.
Go!
He just strikes, and it's just completely wrong as he kind of like looks down and is like,
Let's go, Miss
Okay.
Boy. Let's do this.
He's going to swing down. All right, with that one, that is going to be another attack, this time without the advantage. With a... Does it give you the thing?
Yeah. If I use my bracers, I'll use those.
Okay.
Comes down again, and I'm like, you thought. I can do it too, buddy. Let's go.
All right, and then he makes his last attack.
Oh, that's not good. This is the one that
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not shield. It's just the one.
This is a nat 20 right here, guys.
It's not a nat 20, but it is a hit. Does it give you some kind of a reaction thingy?
No, because I used the bracers as my reaction. I don't think I get
no
another.
damage roll.
I guess. Can my bird? No, because that's also a reaction. It's like because my bird can take the hit too, but.
Oh no.
Okay. As it strikes down upon you, you're going to take 13 points of slashing damage, and I need you... It's not actually half because of your rage.
It's halved, yeah.
Okay. And then your rage ends because you got hit.
Correct.
Cool. And then I need you to roll me a con saving throw.
Okay. That's a 4.
Okay.
Oh.
Your max HP is reduced by the same amount.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, it's not like we have a healer in this group anymore anyway.
I'll keep him busy. Guys. Get the box.
Alrighty, and that is going to bring us to... Oh yeah, the thing that I forgot to mention earlier.
Oh right, the lair action.
As he, like, his eyes flash red, suddenly the ground seems to kind of shake a little bit. And Darian, with your supersonic hearing, you suddenly hear what sounds like shattering. But it sounds... You know what? Go to make me a perception check as part of this.
Oh, wow, that's low. 17.
With a natural 2, by the way. It sounds like something is cracking and twisting, something... It's hard to place. It doesn't sound like stone. It sounds more fragile than that, but it's like... It sounds insanely quick successions of things just kind of breaking open. And then suddenly behind Karpathos, and out of each one of the tiny little slits at the baseline of this room... You see what looks like fine white dust shoot up. And it builds into what looks like a massive cloud of this weird fine white dust. Kind of gathering together. And then it builds itself pretty much right next to where y'all are. as this thing seems to shimmer and shift. It seems to almost be blurred at its edges, but you can, if you kind of look upon it, barely make out what seems to be a gigantic version of maybe almost like a skeletal giant looking down upon you all, as it's like its skeletal faces seems to be kind of down turned towards Darian. Alrighty, which brings us to this little...
Is it undead?
It is undead.
Cool. Do
That's
you want me to
right.
reroll damage?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Hell yeah!
All good.
I wonder if I can fix this ghost skeleton. Just let's fix all the people.
All right. Let me check something really quick. Oh, man. The thing pushes itself incredibly tightly into this thing. It seems to be almost able to kind of push in and take up significantly less space than it did before, just barely within that top left alcove. As it then kind of puts its hands together, it gathers together a bunch of the bone dust and suddenly shoots forward. That is going to be... Hang on one second. You guys so perfectly arranged yourself for that. I love it. Thank you so much. I need you three to make me some con saves, please.
Oh, man.
Oh my god.
Nice. Much better. Alrighty. As the
And
bone... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna use absorb elements too. It gave me the option.
Yeah, that one is not set up apparently correctly for that one,
Okay.
because it shouldn't have given you that. So
Okay.
sorry about that. Just make sure that you get your spell slot back. I might have to toggle that over break. But on that one, Brissa, Argenti, you both save, and taking only, what is half of 43? 21 points of necrotic damage.
But
Take
only 11 for
43?
me because I'm raging.
It's 10 for you, yeah. And Darian, you take 43 points of necrotic damage.
And die.
Yeah, that's it.
It's almost worse. It's almost worse than that, because you become incapacitated as the bone dust just kind of pushes itself into your open mouth, into your ears, into your eyes, and it's like as you just like get completely choked up with it.
You failed the cinnamon challenge.
Yeah. Just coughing repeatedly for a minute. I can't.
Alrighty, your concentration on Pass Without Trace disappears, and all the other fun stuff with incapacitated goes into effect.
Gonna be a
Also,
good time.
I'm going to move the cloud up a little bit just so that you guys can target it and hopefully see it from right there.
Not me forgetting that you were concentrating on passive traits.
Got it. And Argenti, next to you, you suddenly see the sarcophagus top kind of shake. As it does, suddenly it flies up, landing on the side, and you don't see a desiccated hand reaching for the side or maybe some bones starting to rise out. In fact, you just see a quick spectral form, vaguely humanoid, kind of rise up, look at you with an open maw of what's like almost like a scream that is kind of like caught in mid-battle cry. Look at you, and it's like spectral light forms itself together as a Makaira forms in her right hand and a Hoplon shield on her left hand. And she looks at you. You see an ancient symbol of Eresia kind of splayed across. She shoots forward, and she is going to attempt
Gonna beat my ass.
to drain your life, buddy. Oh man, even with a disadvantage,
Can I
that's going to be a hit. But let me double check whether the shield would not do enough. Just too late. Okay.
Constitution saving throw. 29.
Awesome. With that, you are going to take some damage from it, but thankfully that does not reduce your max HP. But as she kind of like cuts into you, The blade, just like a Nargowick, kind of just passes right through you. You see, like immediately you feel the energy kind of like specter out from there. But then she seems to kind of like, kind of almost like pick you up and like pull you in. And as she does, you're like, no. As her mouth kind of goes wide, and it's almost like she's trying to give you a kiss of death.
Demento.
That natural one saved your ass. That fucking foresight. Woo-wee, beautiful. Alrighty, Lyra. Again, this turn you have the ability. We'll say about half your movement will get you into this space.
Okay, and I'm not charmed anymore, right?
Not currently, no. You do still feel Narcissus' presence in your mind. And you can continue to try and resist that, by the way. In your mind, I will give you some more information. Narcissus is like, please make them stop. I know what they did. I know that they are not good people. They're not even people anymore. But believe me, everything else is out so much worse. Please, you. Oh. And you hear his voice kind of drop. And once again, you see him standing in the library and a different book is open. And the book kind of drops as out of it you see spidery fate strands push upwards and build the loom of fate. And you can see upon it stitched together.
Not in my brain.
You can stitch upon it in colorful patterns as a vision of you with your head down with strands around your neck, your hands peeled backwards in like a pain position, with the strands kind of pulling you back, pushing you down at the same time with like a strand pulling at your neck. And you can see Desdemona behind with what looks like strings coming off of her fingers, pulling at you. Oh no.
Girl, that was last Tuesday.
I didn't know that you were... They control you, don't they? Everything I say will be meaningless. This will end in blood no matter what, because you're just like me. And you feel emotions of pity and sorrow flood your mind.
I'll just say, you're right. I am just like you, which is why I should have known from the jump that the vain one can't be trusted. And I will walk out of the demiplane. And I will cast Crown of Stars. So my eyes will glow completely golden, and then orbs of memories will circle around my head. Do I want to go for the brain? Or do I want to go for the people trying to get the thing from the stationary brain? I will... Oh, there's like a thingy right next to... Happy.
Yep.
Well, that's unfortunate, because Crown of Stars will be with disadvantage. I don't have a lot of good things for fighting undead stuff. And Crown of Stars is an action. What? Fuck it, I already said it. I will, pull a memory from the orbs, it will be a reenactment of the first time that we decapitated Queen Helen, and I will throw it straight towards her.
Wonderful. Go ahead and make that attack with disadvantage, and then let's go.
I have so many spells. Where? There it is.
Hashtag warlock problems?
Oh, I still got a 24.
And that is still going to be a hit as that strikes into her and does a good amount of damage. You see part of her shoulder kind of peels back. You can see the bone and the flesh underneath there kind of reveal that she like... And she almost becomes feral. You can see her features seem to almost kind of become a little bit more desiccated, kind of sunken in a little bit more. Her cheekbones more pronounced. Her eyes much more bestial and blood red now.
And I don't want to get closer to Brain, just in case that causes more issues. So I will just stay where I'm at, I guess, because there's a ghosty thing in front of me.
That is fair. All right, cool. With that, then, at the end of your turn, she begins to cast a spell. Do you want to do anything about it?
Helen does?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
All right, go ahead and cast your thingamajiggy.
It's always 5th level. I don't know if that matters.
All right, that does matter because her spell fails. And she just kind of like hisses at you. And then that brings us to her turn.
Can I?
Do it! Do it! Do it!
Please. It keeps coming up, guys. 2, 3, 4.
Problem is, once you get to 6, it'll reset to 1.
Right, it starts over. It starts
No.
over.
Once it gets to 6, it's just consistently at
stays.
6. We're gonna
It just stays 6.
stays at 6.
All right, much like with Carpathos, she is going to step a little bit southward.
With fancy shit or
With fancy shit, yeah.
damn it.
Damn it. We
I
hate
got this
fancy
new
shit.
feat and I can't do anything.
Is it Mage Slayer?
No, it's not. Because
Because it's
one time I did get it, you're like, and we're never gonna do anything like that again. So
If only it was not fancy. We could both make attacks of opportunity.
Yeah.
I know he did this just because we both now have it.
okay.
He's like, oh, Sentinel teleports.
Oh, tier 4 play. Teleport.
Did she just leave? Did she give up?
Yes.
She just went to the door.
Yeah,
Good,
she's
good combat.
scared.
Good combat.
Oh.
She's going to cast a spell on herself. I think
I
this
was-
time
I was
nobody can
choosing
react,
to-
right?
I can't.
Can I flip her off?
Yes,
That'd be my reaction. Cool.
absolutely.
I mean, technically I'm within range, but I'm honestly trying to stay out of this a little bit.
You hear steps coming from somewhere down south, but she just vanishes from view.
Oh. That's not that bad.
All right. Another one of the sarcophagus pops open. This thing is going to fly forward. I think it is only when they start their turn, right?
When they start. Yep.
All right, cool is going to rush towards you, is going to make that attack. That is going to be a hit on you, Daphne.
Would shield help?
What's your AC? No, probably not.
Okay.
All right, gonna make me that con save as you take.
Hey.
Nice. You take 25 points of. Or actually, you would be taking 25 points of necrotic damage, but I believe it is reduced because of who you are as a person, or as your subclass. And then she is going to. she opens her mouth, and this time instead of trying to kiss you, she just goes, and a keening wail escapes her lips.
Right.
That should have not just been you. Sorry about that. For the others, I will call out some stuff too in a second. All right, all of you guys, go ahead and make some con saves for me, please.
Don't I automatically fail because I'm incapacitated?
Let me double check actually, because I think
No,
strength
it's
and
just strength and
yes.
dexterity.
Oh,
Me as well.
Thank you.
that
Tyler.
tracks.
I'm not like
That tracks.
I guess. Okay.
Conniption.
Cognition.
Conniption.
I'm gonna have a conniption about this here in a second. So
Oh,
you
no,
lose
it's not even
concentration and you cannot take actions or reactions.
Oh, you don't even
So
fail
then-
strength and dex.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that's paralyzed. Just paralyzed
Stunned.
and
Stunned,
stunned. That's the
probably.
one.
Yeah.
All right. Going down
Look at-
the line. Let's see here. Let's see.
I still failed it.
Yep. All right, Argenti, Lyra, you succeed. Darian, Brissa, Yanni,
Oh,
you
thank God.
failed. And Daphne, I think you
Lyra.
had rolled. Daphne, you also succeed. All right, going down. Oh, man. Alrighty. With that. Oh, this is bad. This is so incredibly bad for you guys.
No.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have used it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's retcon it right now.
I gave you guys so many opportunities to talk this through. You made your bed. You lay in it.
Eh.
With that, just look to Elena as I do this.
I stand by what I did.
Uh-huh.
I
Yanni
stand by what you
drops
did too.
to 0 HP.
That's fun.
I changed my mind.
Brissa drops to 0 HP.
I will say, if Yanni is above, if 17 would have saved, he would, because my aura.
No, it's already applied.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yep.
damn.
Does Death Ward affect this at all?
It could actually, yes. So I think all of you guys drop to 1 HP instead of 0 HP, right?
Good.
All your
Yeah.
rings begin to flash as, and thanks for that reminder, as you guys clearly just sidestepped death as this creature wails and your very souls feel like they're being ripped from your bodies and start to fly towards this creature before you. Just making some changes really quick. Let's see here. Where were we at? Darian, you dropped to 1 HP. I'll put a little wounded symbol on your halo to indicate that you have used your death ward at this point. All right, let's see here. I believe the others saved. So Argenti, Lyra, and Daphne all saved. So that means that you three take 18 points of psychic damage instead.
Oh,
Is it magic?
Let me double check.
Just because the shield, I have magic resistance, but that's
Oh crap! I keep forgetting about my.
Oh
Rogues
yeah,
can
sorry
make
about
damage
that.
on those
Go ahead
saves.
and go ahead and. I mean, this is not magic.
okay.
Well, it's
It's a
It's not
supernatural
magic
ability. It is
anything?
not. It's not magic. Just the same way that a fire breath of a dragon is not magic, technically speaking.
okay.
It feels magical.
It is very
Yeah.
magical in a supernatural world, no question about it. Yanni, though, you do have your poet thing, right, or whatever the stoic. Does the stoic help you in this situation at all?
It just does the same thing as Death Ward.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Never
just
mind.
have to spend a spell slot for it.
All right. Ends its turn there. You see another one of them shoot outward and fly at Daphne. First things first, it is going to attempt to strike at you. That is going to be a miss if you use your shield. Wait, you already have your shield active, right?
No,
no,
because
no,
you
no.
said it wouldn't be effective
You
the
have
first
aura
time
of
around.
protection. That's what that little symbol is.
Yeah, so I would like to shield. I think it targeted the ghosty though, so I apologize. I'm not shielding the ghost. I'm shielding me.
Shielding the
Are you
ghost.
sure?
Shielding the ghost. All right, cool. That is going to turn it aside, and then she is going to try to kiss you.
Lesbians.
Oh,
She has a
In a great
boyfriend.
campaign.
This is cheating.
She's taken.
Do you need to make that Constitution saving throw now, or does she need to hit?
She needs to hit first, so you can actually ignore that.
Yep.
And then let's see if she's going to be able to do the kiss. And that is going to be another miss, and that ends her turn there. In your mind, Daphne, you hear Narcissus' voice go, "I'm sorry, but I can't. They control me. They could destroy me. You need to just lay down your weapons, please. We can do this together, please. They have a plan." Oh man. And Daphne, all
Oh,
of you
boy.
guys actually. Oh man, hold up. I'll do targeting so it makes it a little bit easier on you. Is there anyone who cannot be charmed amongst you?
Not the
I don't think I have that.
me.
You
And
can't be? Hells yeah. All right, so Argenti, don't worry about rolling. If you cannot, if you have advantage, that's different. I think.
Oh wait, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a dum dum. I've never played D&D before. It's advantage.
No worries,
Yep.
no worries. As you suddenly feel the brain trying to command all of you to take your weapons and just stay where you are, but throw them on the south end of the room to disarm yourselves, essentially.
Oh, well, I don't have any weapons.
Is this a magical effect?
This is a magical effect, yes. So anyone that has advantage on this stuff does get to roll with advantage.
Okay.
Roll threat. Roll threat.
Oh,
We just eat this chakram. It's fine.
I was just looking to make sure I didn't have anything that would help.
That's fair.
kind of like pull the player's guide and see if like the
Fucking
nymphs get.
Christ.
Do the nymphs get anything?
I don't know.
Sometimes I forget my wisdom save is good. Because my wisdom is bad.
All right, then go ahead and make that save, Brissa. All right.
Sense a theme there with all those 21s.
Has a little bit of a theme. All right, going through that. Darian and Daphne, you both fail. At the end of Narcissus' mind turn, though, it doesn't potentially matter, though, as Karpathos is going to use a legendary action to strike down upon you. And that is going to be against Darian. I think you cannot use a reaction, so if it gives you the option... you
No,
can ignore that.
I just take that hit.
All right. Darian this time does go unconscious. Roll me a con saving throw, please.
It's been going really well, guys.
Alrighty, and your max HP is also reduced by 12.
Well, I'm unconscious. All right.
Yes. Oh boy. So the good news is you are unconscious, therefore you cannot try to throw your weapon away. It lands next to you. That's the
But I'm
upside.
unconscious.
Let's call it
Yeah.
let's call it the upside, right?
Yeah.
Also make me another wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Oh, it would help if I had my sheet. That's a 28. Wow.
And you no longer feel the compulsion to throw your weapon away.
Because you're unconscious.
Yeah, I'm
No.
cradling my weapon in the void.
Yeah. All right, cool. And
I can't die. I have to throw my weapon away.
Right?
You'll never
That's the
die.
only motivation I need.
Gotta move this guy a little bit. As this creature, also sarcophagus pops open, you see an honor guard kind of look down, taking a Makaira, and is about to strike down as Karpathos goes, "No! Focus on the others!" As the honor guard looks down towards Darian, and then looks up and flies straight forward.
Bristle will attack it before it gets close to her.
Sure.
So, back away.
I love that the ghost sidestepped to let the guy out of the sarcophagus. How polite.
Listen.
He at least has manners.
Yeah, he was like, oh, sorry, excuse me.
All right. Anything fancy you want to add to that?
I'm about to die, so why not?
Oy.
Alrighty, so that then is going to be quite a bit of damage. The honor guard looks pretty rough after that. Alrighty, that was your reaction. Ends your turn there. Ends its turn there because it was ordered not to attack Darian. Daphne.
Hi.
Doing great, sweetie.
Alright, so here's the thing. We'll make this an athletics check to see how far away you throw it from yourself. Let's roll bad. Can we roll bad on this, Clancy? Can we just make it real bad?
Oh, I was gonna say, could I still maybe use the feat of the hammer afterwards?
Totally. You know
So,
what?
like-
Yeah, just make an attack roll, and then you know what? I mean, if you want to just appear by the door, you can just do that, and that'll be the end of the compulsion anyway.
Okay, I appreciate you.
Sure.
Uh,
All right.
yeah.
Move over there. Teleport over yonder,
Yeah.
and you're good.
Cool.
You did
I
it.
did it. I hit that door real good, guys. It was
So
not gonna
good.
dodge that 27. Does anything happen when it hits the door?
As you hit the door, at first, kind of blood kind of starts gathering around it. You teleport next to it, pull it away. The blood certainly is like starting to reach out for you, though. You get the sense that being
Ew.
next to the wall is not a good idea.
Gross. Okay. Can I do anything else with my turn, or is that it?
You only made one attack, so you technically complied. You
Cool,
outsmarted
cool,
the suggestion.
Cool. Yay. I guess we're gonna just go back. I can only summon that hammer once to me, but I can keep teleporting with the hammer, so yeah. Oh god, no, wait, the armor. Oh, this is a mistake. Okay. Well, oof, I'm sorry.
I know.
Okay,
It's
that
like
changes.
where do you think she is? Where do you think that bitch is at?
These guys are not. I'm no
Uh,
longer a
she
paladin
didn't-
made for this.
She wasn't actively hiding. You get the sense that she's in this square.
Oh,
Yeah, she didn't like use an action or whatever to hide, so you do hear her kind of shuffling around in that square. She's just invisible, so if
She's
you
just
try and attack
dancing
her-
in the square.
I've been wanting to cast a spell ever since I got it, but I need to make sure that I have enough room for it.
Been there.
Because I don't want to hurt everybody.
Really been there.
I'm so sorry. This did change what I was gonna do. Okay.
Welcome to the reason all of my spells are single target spells
Okay.
now.
I'm just gonna tell you what I want to do, David, and we can work it out.
Yes, please.
can work-
That's my job. Let me help you.
Okay, because I have sorcery points, so I can turn it into a bonus action.
Oh, did you use your bonus action to teleport to the hammer?
Oh, that's a good point. I forget if that's a bonus. It is. You may use a bonus action to immediately. Okay, so I technically used up an action and a bonus action then. Okay,
You
that
started
actually
your
makes it a little bit
extra
easier.
attack action, so you do have another attack.
But do I have an action to cast a spell? Is what I mean.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. All right. Yeah. I guess I'll step forward and.
But what
Try
if
to
she
hit.
did, David?
All right, just go ahead. Just
That's
go ahead
okay.
and roll an
Thank you,
attack with disadvantage. Make it simple.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hey.
Not bad, not bad. You see a flash of magic as she turns it aside with a shield.
And I guess I'm a tasty snack then.
But hey, you forced a reaction out of her, so don't forget about that. Awesome. Then that is going to end your turn there.
I will take
If you-
my.
If you move up there, you could potentially get both of those in your thingy. I think Damon was about to maybe point that out to you.
Can I can definitely get the one. If she's over here,
Yeah,
I don't
she's in
want
the square.
to.
So if
Yeah.
you were
She
there,
used
there
her
would
reaction.
be no. Yeah, there would be no attack of opportunity anyway because you'd still been in her melee reach.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I'm still gonna get that one, but
That
at
one,
least I got the-
no, but this one is now also included, which is nice. Okay, cool.
All right.
All right, that does that, and then we're going to go back to the top and take a quick break there. See you guys here shortly. All right, I gotta pee so bad, I'll be right back. All right. Things are looking really bad for those of you guys just joining in or having waited for the break. Yes, also was a little quick. The thing switched over. It does mute my mic, but I was talking as the thing was transitioning.
I think you're still muted, David.
No, I'm not.
No, in are you not? Because I
No.
can't hear you.
Oh, it should be fine. It shows us fine. Savvy, are you there? Savvy.
Oh, maybe it's just me. All
Maybe
my
you're
stuff
just
is
wrong
unmuted.
sometimes.
Yeah, I can-
Whatever.
I can-
Maybe
hear.
just wrong.
Maybe I muted you.
Maybe that's it. With that, these folks are looking a little rough. We have one person at 0 HP, two people at 1 HP. The rest of them also a little brutalized. Whew. As we
We're fine.
as we get into it, Darian, you kick us off at the top of round 3 with a death saving throw, please, and make it blind GM.
Blind. Yes.
Blind.
Do I just press the skull on my
No,
what do I roll on my character sheet?
on the nothing on the bottom right. Just select blind GM
Oh.
roll and then roll a d20.
Okay. Nat 20, and I'm up.
And yeah.
It is not an at 20, sadly. Darian
it's an at
is
one.
bleeding out on the ground. Yanni. There are 4 of these guards, clad in ancient Arisian armor, attacking, wailing, trying to kiss you guys. There's a cloud of bone dust whirling on the western side of this alcove. Daphne is shining brilliantly, striking at something unseen. And of course, Karpathos seems to be almost uninjured, striking down, or did strike down Darian, was barely held back by Brissa. What do you do?
I have 2 options, basically. Well, 3 if I want to just say fuck all this and leave. I guess I could do that, but
Always valid.
um
We'll call that the Yanni exit.
yeah. But I think Yanni's gonna try and keep playing things like he's been trying to the whole time. Enough! This is pointless! Parlay! Parlay! Truce! That's
Alrighty. I'll tell you what. I will give you a DM inspiration for leaning into what the character would do instead of what a gamer might do. I will go through each of you in turn of initiatives to see how you treat the situation, to see if you, as players and as characters, think again, your characters don't have death wishes. Hopefully. Well, shit. But maybe you don't want to see your friends die. Feel responsible for that. Yet at the same time, the threat remains before you. Yanni throws up his hands, Argenti. Says, truce, truce, parlay. As his eyes and yours meet. What do you think is the emotion that Yanni reads across your face, Argenti?
Panic. Yeah. We're in like fight or flight mode. Panic. Primal panic. Yeah. Yeah.
And as those brilliant blue eyes stare back at you, Yanni, with panic in their eyes, what does Argenti do? Stand down or something else?
Okay. Okay, I think we're okay. I'm definitely gonna stand down. Like, I'm not gonna continue fighting because this is not a fight we can win. I'm also afraid of like casting any spell, even if it's like a good spell that helps people, because I don't want it to be perceived as like a threat.
I will, for your calculation, you are an incredibly powerful arcanist at this point. You did see a shield spell kind of flicker for a second, keeping Daphne at bay. You're fairly certain that if you cast a spell, it will probably go through. If that helps your calculus.
Go through.
Like, it's not going to get countered.
Like she won't counterspell it.
Oh, yeah. I just don't want the fight to go on.
Yeah, the question is, do you
okay.
stand down or do you end the fight?
I'm definitely gonna stand down, and I don't think I'm gonna cast anything. So I'm gonna stand down and hold my hands just kind of by my side, like very visible. There's no sparks coming off of them. There's nothing. Yeah,
Alrighty.
like checkmate kind of thing.
Brissa.
Okay.
I mean, Brilla knows when a fight is lost, so yeah, she'll look at Yanni and Argenti and be like, "You realize we're making the same mistake with Sidon, and we are siding with a person that eats souls, and is obviously evil. Sorry, Yanni. She slaughtered thousands of people. She has no right to live anymore." Brissa will. She won't attack, but because she realizes that was dead.
All right. You stand down. As Carpathos steps up towards you, reaches out his other hand to take your glaive from you, Brissa.
Oh, she will not give him her glaive. She'll put it away.
All right, well, we're gonna die.
Carpathos takes some of the strand of hair that kind of got pushed away. If I wanted to, I could have killed your friend already. You can have your weapon back after we speak.
She will give it to him.
He takes
It's a
it,
bad idea.
and he actually kind of looks
Bad
at
idea.
it almost reverently.
Bad. Okay, yeah, bad idea. All right. I have 1 HP.
He
I feel like crap. I can't actually do it.
He pushes the weapon through the force field as it just kind of like starts to float next to the brain. And he actually gives you a curt small bow, Brissa. His red intense irises focusing in on yours. It is good to meet the killer of a god.
I am not pleased to meet you.
So much for royal diplomacy.
He steps over to here. And Daphne, as he kind of like, again, has the light. Please. And he holds out his hand towards you as well. Let's say to move things up, we'll say that you can use a reaction to make a choice of give away the weapon or indicate your lack of consent.
I think like Daphne's shaking. She is such a mess, and there's like tears rolling down her face as she just shoots a glare at Yanni. And drops the weapon at his feet. So he will have to fucking pick it up.
He gives you a nod, keeping eye contact with you as he reaches down towards the weapon. Magnificent. Thank you. And throws it. also lands inside of the force field
Damn, it doesn't hit the brain. Okay.
and kind of starts rotating. It's like the weapons are just kind of like rotating with the box as well around the brain. The honor guards and the bone dust cloud do push in a little ways.
Did they take damage?
Yes, they sizzle a little bit, no question about it. So just roll a d6 if you want to, and we'll apply that across the board. Lyra, do you stand?
Hey.
Hey, that's what we said.
Queen Helen better take that damage too.
Tyler.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it because if I do anything, everyone else is gonna die. But if we just go along with their plan, we might as well just give up trying everything else that we're planning to do. So sure, she'll stand down. She wants to go back
remember,
home anyways.
Yanni never said anything about going along with their plan. He asked for parley. There's a difference there. Just remember that, everybody.
Yeah, if we don't go along with their plan, we're still all at 1 HP. So that's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
We're kind of dead. Just a tiny bit.
To
if
be
we do
fair.
that.
You hear the hissing sound as the queen steps away and out of the light. Thank you, son. Steps forward. You casters. The same with your casting implements. Into the shield. You will not come to harm, so long as you do not again attack. Darian, if you were awake, that would feel like a zing in your direction, but you're like, I'm unconscious, fucker. Argenti, you do feel almost like as if eyes are boring into you for your little disintegration attempt. Tiny. As with that, found ourselves not in combat anymore. Carpathos kind of steps back. The bone dust cloud kind of collapses down. As he steps back over towards Darian, you see him actually kind of like close his eyes, focus on the weapon that he's carrying, and all of the kind of like veiny growths both across his arm and the weapon itself kind of pulls with a red light. He puts his other hand upon your stomach where there's like a severe wound, Darian. And suddenly there's just a flash of red light. Darian,
Well, don't touch her.
you heal for 100 hit points. As
I come back spitting blood, just like. Just-
he pulls his hand back up and is like, "We have agreed to a parley. Your weapon," and he points towards the shield where it's kind of floating with the other ones, "is safe. We will figure this out, one way or another." As they usher you guys to all kind of like stand by Daphne, but obviously not necessarily with Daphne. At least they won't be standing with Daphne because
No, come here. Come here.
Could you turn that off, please?
Come here, bitch. Now.
All right. So I'm just getting stuff toggled off now. Queen Helen does not reappear, but she does say,
Howard.
"Oh, no. I am impressed with you, Lyra. Hiding the divine artifact in a divine demiplane of sorts. Protecting it against scrying. Genius."
That's okay. I have a spell that can hit you anyway.
Maybe Yanni needs to talk for
Can,
us.
can you all just tone down the aggression? We'd all be dead right now if they hadn't agreed to stop and talk. Let's try and respect that a little bit, please.
Your mother's a mass murderer, Yanni.
I'm aware.
Anyways.
She doesn't deserve to be alive.
Queen Helen goes, tisk, tisk. Queen Brissa. You know what is interesting? You know what my spies that still exist in Mitros told me of your activities with the sirens in the mountains. You so casually, so elegantly call me a mass murderer, and unlike you, I will not deny it, but do you also look in the mirror when you point that finger? How many sirens did you slaughter? For the greater good. How many are okay? At what point do you draw the line, you selfish bitch?
I hate myself for it every night. I think that is the difference between
And you don't think that I don't hate myself too?
It doesn't seem like it.
Carpathos just kind of puts up his hand. Enough. Grandson. We are at an interesting impasse. If you want to, we can finish this fight here and now, and we'll call that the failure. I would like to explore other options. I am seeing the hatred that burns within all of you. Validly. My granddaughter did what was necessary for the greater good of finally removing the Titan's grasp from our throats. Narsos tells me that you, Glacius, were there during the First War. You saw the millions slaughtered by the Titans, sacrificed like oxen. If that is true, then you two were there when I fought them. You were there when we dared stand against Sidon, his subjugation. You were there and witnessed the curse that he placed upon me and mine. The wanton destruction, the manipulation. Yes, my bloodline has become murderers, war criminals. But compared to what he and Lutherier did to us, to you and me, and all of everyone in this room, all of everyone in Thylea, it pales. Does it not?
I try not to think about it.
But you must. We do not have the luxury to not think about this anymore. You have already accomplished something that I have been working towards for centuries. You slew a god. And for that I will always respect you. Yes, you are better than us. You had things put in place for you that enabled you to be the heroes that you are now. And I wish I would have had the fortune, the prophecy on my side, the fates spinning their thread in my favor. But I did not. I was a mere man, trying to do the best he could in an impossible, asymmetrical war where a god stood in my way. Not just in my way. I was not trying to do anything more than survive, to let my people thrive without the boot of a god upon my neck. What would you have given? What would you have sacrificed to fight a god that used you like a plaything? And I know it will be easy to say not as much as I did. But take a moment and think about it. What have you given up so far? What have you lost this far because of the machination of the gods?
Silence is killing me.
Daphne is gonna just fucking like, because elbowing might hit him in the face. Instead, just like side kick Yanni.
He goes unconscious.
Good.
He has had 1 HP.
And just like through like clenched teeth, just you asked for parley. Fucking talk.
Please give us as much detail as you're willing on what your plans are. I need to understand this before I can make an informed decision.
He kind of looks to the side where there's nothing, and it becomes clear that he's able to perceive where she is, as Queen Helen begins. Fine. The divine artifacts were created by a celestial from a different plane. A creature that washed up on the shores, much like many of us settlers. I see by your reactions that you know this. Fine. Those artifacts can be used to slay gods. Not just slay them, but destroy them. Destroy the divinity within it once and for all. To wield the power of gods themselves. But unlike everyone else that would have taken up the mantle, anyone else would have taken up the divine artifacts, we agreed that we would never allow that to happen. So I devised a way. Grandfather Carpathos had chosen the path of undeath, a lesson taught by the Lich Demon, so that he could function as a dagger in the dark if it became necessary, to train the future resistance against Sidon and Lutheria and any other gods as they might arise. We were able to acquire the Caduceus, and with it we learned deeper secrets of life and death. With it, we will be able to annihilate the gods. With a construct similar to the Palladium, powered by the artifact's power, we can ensure that no one in Thylea will ever see a divine step foot into Thylea ever again. A world free of gods, of divine servants, mortals free to choose what path they walk, what causes to take up, to simply be and live.
And you have no intention of forcing your will on these people in place of a god?
You see Carpathos kind of look to the side. All y'all go ahead and make an insight check.
Thank you, Lyra.
Brought to you by Lyra.
I rolled a blind. I
You
was
got-
like, where is it?
you got a 15.
Oh.
Lyra and Argenti, you can tell that at least on Carpathos' part, he's reading something and he's getting something from Helen, even though you can't necessarily see what she is doing. But he goes, "Yes, we have to. This is our line at stake. I will not have him killed without knowing the full plan. But what if they think that they are above us, then they think that? Were we not mortals trying to make decisions for Thylea?" She just goes quiet. "Not our will, Yanni. But there will need to be wardens. Those who protect that which protects Thylea. I, for one, have existed for a long, long time. Hidden in shadows, leeching life away. I have made it my mission to see Thylea without tyrants ruling it. And I almost lost myself in that pursuit. Yes. But I'm tired. And the story of you, your meteoric rise, gave me hope. When you defeated your mother, I knew that you were strong enough. My plan, if you agree, is to choose special soldiers, a cadre trained, sworn to secrecy. Well, I suppose no longer by oath, but I suppose out of the goodness of their heart at the very least. To step into undeath. They will look over the underworld, the Nether Sea, and ensure that the dead are never disturbed. Simultaneously, they will also guard that which will protect us. We need these guardians if this plan is to work, or eventually someone will think that gods should return to this world, and that I will not abide by. Gods are the epitome of vainglorious self-aggrandizing, ego so vast that they crush millions below them. I will never have that again. Will you aid me, son?
Kind of glances around at everybody else. You keep invoking our familial relationship, but I didn't know about any of that until I happened to reach out to Sai as he was dying, and I didn't even know it. And he told me, well, okay, I had learned the truth, but I didn't know that anybody else knew it until Sai called me his brother, which means Sai knew. here I stand with both of you addressing me by this familial relationship. It is not the first time I have stood in front of Mother, and she didn't say anything the last time. So
she reveals herself.
I need to understand. I need to understand. Have you known all along where I was? Did you trade me to the hags, to the fates? I need to understand everything that happened there before I can trust you on any greater level.
Helen steps forward. Chin held high, but there is a sadness in her eyes that you notice. Versi. Favored granddaughter, or daughter, I suppose, of Sidon. She had been lauded for centuries as a wise oracle, able to foresee the future, a gift from Sidon himself. One day, she came to me, which was surprising since you can imagine the oracle was not exactly welcome in my city. I was pregnant with you. There was fear in her eyes. The fear and anxiety of a mother. And that day she warned me that her prophecy was that I would birth a child, my firstborn, who would bring an end to the gods, to be the end of Lutheria, and that is when we were interrupted. It appeared that cultists had followed her in, started attacking my soldiers. They were quickly overwhelmed, but Versi had teleported away. The prophecy given. I would birth the hero that would kill Lutheria. But I knew that her cultists now knew. So I had envoys sent to the island of the Fates. And I offered them a deal. For them to find a way to protect you from death by Lutheria. To let you see adulthood, so that you could fulfill your promise to be the slayer of the gods. They took their pound of flesh. And they took you. I thought I had been tricked. I thought you were dead. I did not know of you until they deigned to tell me. Sai must have come across my notes. He never knew. The fates, they shrouded you from me. Divination failed. Augury. Nothing.
So you didn't know who I was the first time we faced each other?
I did.
Okay.
I figured, what difference would it make? You were a hero. But beyond that, you were a traitor. You had sided with Sidon. You allowed Thylea to be safe in prison. I thought that Versi had simply lied to get me to give up my firstborn son in the bidding of Sidon's games. So I wanted to kill you the first time that I actually got to meet you, because I thought that you were nothing more than a traitor to all the people of Thylea. That is the truth. And when I was resurrected here, brought back to unlife by our grandfather, I plotted to destroy you. But any time that I was about to give the command to have you crushed or disintegrated or destroyed, I couldn't do it. And then you helped destroy Sidon. I am not your mother. I know that. We can appreciate that. But your blood is ours. You are the future of Arisha. You are the rightful king, the only remaining rightful king of Arisha. I have committed crimes in the name of our goal. And she looks over towards Daphne now. Does she make eye contact?
Shooting daggers. Shooting absolute daggers.
And she steps forward until the light starts to burn her. If it will help our agreement, then after we succeed, I will submit myself to your judgment for you to destroy me eternally, if that is the vengeance that you seek for the crimes that I admit I have committed. She lets the light burn her more. You see the skin kind of peeling back.
Daphne's gonna have to hold herself back because she's ready to like pounce and just like wrap her hands around her throat. But I don't know if you want like a wisdom saving throw or anything.
If
like,
that's what you decide, you go for it.
Like, yeah, I think Daphne's kind of in meltdown mode. Like this is not good. Yeah. Okay.
Is that a success or a failure? You tell me.
I think that's a success, but barely, as she just like goes like she's gonna lunge and holds herself back, and she just like spits at her feet.
You see Queen Helen at first flinch a little bit, but then just kind of like stand more regal, and you spit at her feet. She nods.
How kind of you to want to see the benefit, the fruits of your labors accomplished, and then that is when you will die. Did you wait for all of my siblings to feel accomplished in their goals before you snuff them and use them? Then why the fuck would you think you deserve the same?
Because I was stronger than them. And you will be stronger than me. She waits until the skin is completely burnt away, and it's just like this grotesque visage of blood and muscle and sinew that is looking back at you. The teeth are starting to show through as the cheeks kind of have burnt away. And then she steps back, immediately starting to begin to heal again.
So you just want to create undead warriors that are god against gods. That how are they going to sustain themselves? Because from what Yanni has said, they eat souls. But do you expect daily sacrifices from the kingdoms and everything? Like that's not fair.
Liches eat souls, not all undead.
Is it going to
But
be
I'm
a
also not
lich?
a big fan of the undead concept.
For what we have in mind, we would need blood. What I have constructed around you is an amplification of the caduceus that I have modified. You can destroy this place if you will, after we are gone. Though I must say that I'm surprised by, again, your picking and choosing. You have known of the Lich Daemon for a long time. He is the one who taught me these secrets in the first place. The book that you stole from its pedestal was a gift of his. You seem to have no problem taking it. Is power only valuable when you wield it?
I mean, I never said I was okay with Damon either doing that. I don't think I really knew. To say.
Maybe you want to ask him some questions as well. But we are splitting hairs about things that matter little for the present. Light of Thylea, ask your questions, make your accusations. Let us settle this, once and for all. A decision must be made. Go along with our path, the path that we have walked for centuries, in preparation for what must be done. Or disagree. But know that I will not let you stand in our way now. I am sorry. I wish I could.
I'm honestly pretty on board with the idea of no gods. That's what I've wanted all along. And it's not even the Arisian influence, it's more witnessing firsthand all the bullshit that's come from them. But don't I don't know if I can trust anything you say about what would happen after the gods. And I don't mean that as an insult. It's simply my only experience with my family's leadership style is has been snuffing out the lives of my friends' family to power something that helped keep them in power. So it's hard for me to blindly trust that you're not going to use this as a way to not just restore Aresia, but take power in other ways.
What assurances do you need?
I will say it helped to see you not only command your minion over there to not kill Darian when she was already down, but that you actually healed her. That gives me hope that I can trust you. But I think I don't know. God damn it, this is the first time in my life I've wished that oaths were a thing still.
Guys, I
wish
did it.
that oaths were a thing.
No!
Bring him back! Bring him back, Argenti!
Argenti rises as a swirling glow surrounds him.
This is my time!
Runes cascade through the air.
So many options.
The
to
north
bring
wind,
oath bags.
the south wind, the east wind, the west.
Time Lord!
Yeah.
What if they gave us the artifacts? I am fine with no gods either. I don't really care. But I don't really trust the way that you guys went about things. What if you trusted the artifacts to us instead?
Then we would have
That's
no
kind of
assurances that you wouldn't use them to become gods yourselves, and then we would have no way to defeat you.
I'm the only one of us that can cast the spell. The spell is not finished. And I've been debating on whether I should finish it or not anyway. I realize I can only give you my word, but I have no intention of finishing that spell if we go forward with this plan.
What's everyone else's reaction to that?
Princess adjusted us, so she's fine with it. You could keep the Caduceus. Maybe we just take the glaive with us.
Splitting them between us does seem a valid way to assure cooperation up to that point, at least.
Do we have to kill the gods, or can we banish them? Because there are some gods, and Brissa will look at Daphne, that don't deserve to die, and so maybe we give them the opportunity to leave instead.
Or maybe there's a way they can give up their divinity.
Can you modify your spell, Yanni, to do that instead?
Probably. It takes some research and yeah, I can definitely look into it.
I believe there should be more. I think that if an alliance is to be made, Helen says, then we must also vanquish our common enemy, the false queen that sits upon the throne of Themis. I see
Yeah, I'll agree with
the
that.
rage that burns inside of you, Darian. I've felt it myself. What if we aided you? Imagine hundreds, thousands of undying soldiers that vanquished the Medusa threat. A promise from a queen to the future queen of Themis. Something that we do first. And I suppose a necessary step anyways. Since it appears, from what my spies have told me, Moxena already holds one of the divine artifacts.
He has the ambrosia.
Darian's gonna look at Brissa. I am honored that you would be willing to help me in this fight, but I've never wanted my people to be killed for this false queen. And I'm afraid that she'll just keep throwing each person at that wall of undead over and over and over. Take that caduceus from you. I would rather, if we can make a copy of the caduceus, doesn't have to be real, but if we're seen here leaving with it, they might think that we now have two, and we'll have more bargaining power. And while my throne is at stake, it's Brissa's daughter I'm worried about more.
I have heard about this as well. And she gives you a look, Brissa. And you see a tear of blood run on the inside and then down her cheek as she looks at you. I don't cry much anymore. From what I heard from my spies, Queen Brissa, I am sorry to inform you that your daughter is dead.
I think Brissa will just. It's like rage and like sadness and everything all combined, and she just wants to hit something, and I don't think she like can hit anything right now, and so she's just gonna go and let's say
There's like the top of the sarcophagus you could probably pick up and like smash or something like that if you wanted to.
I think she's just gonna like scream out in like pure pain, and then just like go over the corner and like slump down and just like cry to herself right now.
Queen Helen just kind of has her head lowered. I figured you'd want to know sooner rather than later. I agree then. I do not want to slay your people. I hate that I had to do it here, as they begin to dig for me. But you're right, they're going to keep coming. However, this can function as a distraction for a while. Not necessarily here anymore. I will say that I'm concerned. I heard what happened to Mitros when you went to slay Sidon. Moxena and her brood of Medusas stabbed you in the back and brought your city to its knees. If you return there with the divine artifacts in one place, who knows what they'll be willing to do. You would have to remain unknown, unseen somewhere else, out of their reach. However, maybe it's the warrior in me that always was a bit too vengeful, but I do believe you should at the very least free Themis from her grip. We could land the troops at the shores of Themis, make a big show of an invasion. But when the time comes to fight and the armies clash, I will order my minions to stand down and let themselves be destroyed. The troops of Moxena's loyal and forced servants will find no resistance, but have been drawn out of the city. And this time, it will be your turn to twist the knife in her back.
I think I can stomach that plan. But I don't want them to stand down when they see a Medusa. I want them to cut every single snake off their goddamn head.
You see a predatory grin spread across his face. And he nods. So we will keep the true Caduceus as an ante, I suppose, of trust for each other. We will create a copy for you to take, to blind Moxena, spread her troops even more thin. My grandfather will launch troops. We will need to get ships, though. Maybe our plan against Cydonia can work anyway. Cydonia, huh? It is what they're calling our city, after all. Steal their ships, sail against Themis, distract them, and the rightful queen kills the usurper. And after we attain the third artifact, we once and for all banish or destroy all remaining gods, titans, or other divine beings in and from Thylea. Is this something that all of us can agree on?
As long as we keep the option open for them to surrender their divinity if I can get the spell to work, yes.
Do you think this wise, keeping creatures around that would know of this? Do you trust this god that much?
This one in particular, yes.
Then I would like to meet them.
We can make the request. What's Daphne? Is she giving any visible reaction to any of that?
I think she is actually like holding her mouth the whole time, and like as the group just chips away and starts agreeing, I think she just crumples to the floor. Like she's just on her knees, crying and holding her mouth, and she's not like looking at anybody but except the floor. Just
If Daphne drops to the floor and is crying, Darian will move forward in front of her and kneel down in front of her and say, if you can see any other way forward, any other path, tell us now. Because we are group. We are friends. And no one in this group has more say than another. I refuse to leave here with any more regret, any more distrust. This is a tomb, and we either die here together, or we leave here better.
I have regretted every day agreeing with Sidon. And I cannot possibly foresee these people being any better. We are being used. We will always be used. And I cannot foresee Hephaestus so willingly give up the divinity of the Eight. Perhaps for himself, if he can be convinced it's for the greater good, not at the expense of the others.
You know, I don't know him well, but I do know that he is a man of his own mind. And if you tell him what happened here, if you tell him what options were presented to us, and allow him or have him meet them, let them meet him, let them see what we see, and maybe there can be more to be discussed. But I need you to stop worrying about what could happen, what might happen. This is what's happening now, Daphne, and this we are here with you. We see you. And what I see someone who is strong, who is loved.
Helen, with your all-knowing spies, is there a chance to bring her daughter back?
Braces.
Of course.
Do you want me to go into detail how gruesome they were?
You can just answer and say no.
I believe it would be extremely difficult, short of the powers of a divine.
I hate you. I despise you. I'm disgusted by you, and it's even furthermore so because you're trying to show some semblance of humanity, some shred of empathy, as if you actually have ever had it. I think she takes off the helmet. Fine. Let us side with another, and we'll see how well it pans out. But if you betray us, if you use us, if you go against your word, I will use every ounce of my soul to end you.
I would expect nothing less. Hypothesis' eyes scan the rest of you, as your eyes might scan his face, the creatures around you, or the floor. Argenti, your eyes meet with his. What of you, dragon? Protector of the downtrodden.
I'm with Daphne. We'll see how it goes.
His eyes scan over to you, Lyra. Lyra, as you look around, you swear you can see little strands of fate making up the walls and the floor, the people, the tension between the room. You know in your gut that this is a momentous point in time, a branching path. Which string do you pluck? Which string do you cut?
I think seeing the fate strings and hearing Daphne pretty much verbalize her whole thought on this situation, how we've already done this once and it bit us in the ass badly. She'll look at Yanni. She'll look at Darian. Darian, I'm happy that you'll get your throne back. And Yanni, I care about you, so I won't try and stop you from playing Happy Family. But I'm not going to help them. I won't stop them, but I will not be a part of this. And I have my own overseers that I'm probably going to have to answer to after this.
Queen Helen steps forward. And what if you did not? What if you could cut the strings that hold you? I wouldn't want that gift from you. From what I've heard, you do not need that gift from me. Her eyes dart over to Argenti. In fact, this entire time I was wondering whether the miraculous powers of a dragon in disguise would simply smite us away. I've heard of your miracle, bringing a Dragonlord and its rider back. Don't lie to me. You've already figured out a way to tap into divine powers, haven't you?
Yes.
Then I suppose I have to suggest one more idea. Lyra, you are a puppet to the fates, willingly or otherwise. Why don't you use your powers as friends, as the future wardens of Thylea, to free yourself of that which binds you? And then you can make completely free, unfettered decisions. Child,
It has to be a choice.
Carpathos says, I think they need more than that. I agree it needs to be a choice, Argenti. And what are you suggesting, Grandfather? Do you see the hate in that one's eyes for your creation of the Palladium? I do. Do you not recognize it? I do. And are you loyal to the house into which you were born? I am. And are you willing to see our plan come to fruition? You know that I am. Then I order you to not wait until we accomplish our goals together, but you will be destroyed this day for your crimes. Queen Helen gets a little bit of a caged animal look in her eyes for a second, then looks down, her hands kind of shaking. You would make me do this? Yes. If it is your choice to see Thylea better, remember what we fought for. If the ends justify the means, then we cannot be above being a means to an end. I suppose you will prevent me from rising again? Of course. This would be meaningless otherwise. Is that what you want, Daphne? Me destroyed? No.
I wanted to slaughter you in this room. With my compatriot. unified in one goal. And you've utterly destroyed that. So quite frankly, having you, lay down and let me smash your brains in, doesn't really scratch the itch I was hoping.
I see. Maybe then we can return, and she kind of shoots Karpathos a little bit of a look, to the conversation we were having. Lyra, would you want to be free of your bindings? Not by my hand, but by your own.
I don't think so.
And it is Queen Helen's turn to look defeated, as her shoulders slump, and she pulls back a bit. As long as you promise an oath that you will not interfere with our plan, fine. You do not have to be a part of this then. But if you get in the way,
I already said I wouldn't. Because I care for Yanni. Not any of this bullshit that you've been talking about for the last hour.
Queen Brissa.
Bruce is on the floor crying right now, like sad. But she will look up and be like, "I don't care what we do, as long as I get to wring that bitch's neck in my bare hands."
Everybody nods in the room. Even the ghosts are like,
At least we get to agree on that much.
Yeah.
One common ground.
Yeah.
Queen Darien. The fight above was bloody. But when we began speaking, I ordered the Amazons be captured rather than killed. They will be yours to command as you see fit. The Medusas have been captured as well. The heads of their snakes detached. If you would like, I will have them brought into this room for your... Kind of opens his hand as your chakram comes floating towards it. He steps forward and offers it to you. Judgment.
Darian's going to look at each member of the light. And I think he's going to decide that this is the first time she's going to do something without having to rely on them. And she's going to take that chakram and she's going to say, bring them here. We have lots to discuss. And then she will look at Daphne and say, you should go see if your mother is there. Because I don't think you're going to want to be here for what comes next.
Daphne will go up to Brissa and just like offer her hand to help her up.
Bristol will take her hand. She's kind of just like a little like dead inside right now. She doesn't really know what's going on.
Join the dark side. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We could be Oathbreakers together.
Maybe
They have
betraying
cool-
dragon.
they have cool
can't do
makeups.
that.
They have cool makeup.
No,
We need the aura. We need the lay on hands.
We do.
please. What good has it done us here today?
That's true.
Ow.
Sorry, little bit of the.
A little bit of
Daphne
a little bit of
coming out.
Daphne came in through there.
Sorry. Yeah, Daphne's gonna help Brissa up and just like hold her into a hug and just like gently whisper to her, asking, do you want to get out of here? Out of this hellhole? Help me find my mom.
Bristol will just she'll nod. I will help you.
She'll walk up to the brain to get their items back.
They all are returned to you.
Cool. Can she like touch the dome of the that's holding the brain?
It feels like almost like an undulating mass. Like you can feel it's almost like solid water kind of pushing back against your hand.
I think like there's so many things that she wants to say to him.
But Bristol will just she will whisper to Daphne and be like, ask for his freedom as well.
I don't know if Narcissus has access or whatever, but I really think Daphne, the first thing that comes through her head is, does he deserve it?
You don't currently feel a touch upon your mind.
Okay. I don't think she can even stand to look Carpathus in the eye, being this close. It's gonna be an on-site thing. And what of Narcissus?
He was a gruesome but useful tool, and can continue to be so in acquiring information. But I can sense in you that you object to us using him in this way, and I can understand why.
Oh my god. Where? See, what pisses me off the most is it sounds like, for just a bit, there's enough empathy and morality in there to recognize when something is so fucked up that you shouldn't do it. But for the greater good, or whatever.
I don't feel personally attacked. It's just my accent, okay? That's just the best I could do for the
Well, I'm
great
gonna make fun of
accent. It is. And I will not apologize for the methods. I will make amends. I will
Sure.
see this to the end.
Sure. You know, it pisses me off that Lutheria is still alive, too. Because that's the same thinking right there.
The grip on his sword actually kind of tightens a little bit.
Good.
So that's true. She's not dead. I'd hoped that
No.
that information was wrong.
No, she's not, unfortunately. She decided her own justice. Isn't that convenient? Looking over at Helen.
Then I will leave Thylea as well.
Oh, gods.
To hunt her. To destroy her.
Lutheria was much of a victim as we are. I've done horrible things too. I've committed mass murder, and I'm still standing here trying to make the world a better place. Same as her. Well,
Daphne's just gonna walk out with Brissa at this point, like, nope. Start the fire, we're leaving now. Come on, Brissa. Go before the bomb goes off.
Hammer
As
drop.
it's going off. Yeah.
Summon it back. The goal is Thylea free of gods. Let's focus on that. I think we've all been victims at one point or another. What matters is whether we, and he looks down the hallway as Daphne and Brissa kind of round the corner, choose to remain victims or ascend to become survivors. I am glad of your wisdom, your insight, your genius, Yanni. He steps up towards you. Similarly, also gets down on a knee, puts a hand on your shoulder, sees you kind of reacting like that.
You know that getting down on your knee thing? It's kind of a little condescending.
We thought it would be more condescending to talk down on you, but he gets back up, looking down on you. Thank you for giving this a chance. I'm sorry for all the hardship. And yes, it is a sorrow. A hollow sorry. At the end of whatever half-life I have lived, very little remains, and I have focused on the hatred. All other emotions have been burnt away. But today, I felt a sliver of something that I forgot I could feel. Hope.
Yeah.
Helen summons forth the lockbox from behind the shield. She takes it in her hand and walks over towards you, Lyra. I hate your masters with all of my heart. What they did to my son. The false promises that they made to me. Just remember that when they promise you sweet, sweet nothings. You are just like that shuttle that you carry. A tool to accomplish whatever it is they're trying to create. And she pushes the box into your hands.
I'm sure your boss will come for them after you're done with the rest of buying. And I'll be there to kill you when that day comes.
Please bring Daphne. I believe a fair fight is what she demanded. And a fair fight we will have. For honor. She does an region.
Past honor.
Salute. That is clear. She melts, her skin just disappearing, the flesh itself just turns into blood, the bones all collapsing down. It's just like a puddle of blood. We will be in touch then. We will put our plan to steal the ships that rightfully belong to Rija in motion. We will sail for Themis. And when we are ready, we will let you know. The assault will begin. For you. And he puts out his hand towards you, Darian. And similarly, blood kind of coalesces and then turns bone white as there's literally what looks like a bone staff with looks like intricate carvings on the side, arcane runes and the like appears. But completely seems to be just made out of alabaster, either white wood or bone. And he hands it to you, Darian. It is a fake, but it will appear as if it is the genuine thing.
Okay.
For vengeance.
I think Lyra will just walk back into the demi-plane. She'll... Not the right moment for this, but it's literally 100% Lyra. She will reach into her toga and pull a key out from between her cleavage and unlock the lockbox.
Love that for her. I really do.
And just make sure that the fire is actually still there.
The thin, rhomboid, green crystal that holds the Promethean fire glows within the lockbox.
And she will shut it and relock it and place it back on the table. And put the key back where it was.
Peak Lyra.
And contemplate just staying in here, but she won't. She'll leave.
You just stay in the demi-plane. You know what?
Oh, man. All right. With that, I think that's what we're going to call it for this week's episode. That did not go how I think that was going to go. Not even a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be rating another channel. If you players feel like working through your emotions after that, while I do that for a quick minute on the side, please feel free.
I think I just have to figure out what Lyra's gonna do after she helps Darian get her throne back.
I think we're all gonna have to decide what to do.
Well, everyone is gonna have to decide what they're gonna do, but Lyra's not helping them.
Yay, the druid's coming back.
Hot druid. Oh, man. We'll find out what happens next time. Always on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. Yay!